At the beginning of the session, I took the two students in to show them the learning objectives of today's session. The reason for this is to get their immediate attention and focus, because you're already setting goals for them to achieve throughout the lesson. You are letting them promote collaboration and reflection of the sessions, asking themselves, am I completing today's objectives? I gave them three objectives on table tennis. What it is you need to be a complete table tennis player. Be able to complete a backhand stroke in table tennis, and analyse the strengths and weaknesses of your opponent. The core task is the main part of the lesson, where the student should find is fun and enjoyable, and where a lot of the learning occurs. When doing a session, you want to groove in the students slowly in, letting them get comfortable and focused. As students, we all just want to play. My core task was a game of table tennis, a match where the two students are developing their own ability, but mostly and importantly having fun. In addition, the teacher gains the utmost advantage of this by getting to observe both of the students and their ability, looking towards their areas of improvement, as well as the students also looking at each other's ability, relating it back to the objective of analysing each other. After the course task, I stopped and called the students in for a bit of effective question on my part. The reason for this is because I want to see if the students are still on task with the lessons and their learning objectives. It also helps me know that they have developed their own understanding, and by me not telling them what I was looking for, they figured out their own explanation for themselves and have analysed their opponents. From my observation and from their own observation, we've all concluded that they need to work on the backhand stroke in table tennis. So I took it into my own hands and demonstrated a backhand stroke in table tennis. I did it a few times. From the core task, I then progressed the lesson by breaking it down to a focus task. The focus task was working on the backhand. By working on the backhand, it would have both opponents purely playing diagonally across the table, serving from backhand to backhand to backhand to backhand. This would happen for a few times over and over again to develop the technique and to get comfortable with the technique. So from focus task, I've progressed the lesson and further struggled with the backhand stroke by working on the technique, by one-to-one and explaining them how you should perform a backhand stroke in table tennis. After the technique session, we'll then go back into the focus task of the backhand draw, from backhand to backhand to backhand to backhand, with what they learned, putting it into practice for them again to get comfortable and developing an ability of the backhand stroke. It's quite similarly, what I was doing was a pole, heart, pole teaching method, whereas you have a main task and breaking it down slowly and then slowly putting it back together to progress again into the core task. So we'd go back in the core task with what we learned from the focus task, from further what we learned from the technique session, go back into the core task of the match by putting it all together, by putting good practice into play with a proper game. At the end of the lesson, I brought the two students in for a bit of reflection, asking them again further questions about the importance of analysing your opponent, the importance of a backhand stroke, and what you need to be a complete table tennis player, and how it can be crucial in a game of table tennis.